Hello and welcome back to RimWorld. We are continuing our playthrough as the Kaio Nation, and we are attempting to survive a massive hunger. I feel like this xenotype is just killing me with the hunger rate of 225%. So we're just barely keeping up with the food demand. And that's with somebody pretty much dedicated cooking all the time. So I'm hoping we can get ahead of it at some point. It's a little rough because we're right at that threshold. I believe it's -2 that makes it makes your meals that you cook have food poisoning. So I need to kind of keep an eye on that. But hopefully we get to a point where it's not as big of a deal. I'm hoping like we have like 10 simple meals banked up here now. But between that and gathering up all this existing rice on the map, I'm really hoping we're at a point where this is more sustainable. I also don't know why I have not deconstructed these sleep spots yet, because they absolutely can sleep in beds now. There's no reason not to. That will help them regenerate their sleep quicker, which will give them more time to be productive and work. I really want them to put the effort into chopping a bunch of these trees down, because it is going to be pretty imperative to have a lot of lumber available. And I want to free up, while we can, the space to continue building out, especially while we're replanting this fiber corn. So long term, we're going to be getting our wood from the fiber corn. But short term, I want to be able to kind of mow down all this space and be prepared to, fill it in with concrete like Elves would. Um, I'm I'm hoping even longer term that we end up going, we end up spending a little more time outside on the map, and that will be, with all these trees available in general on the map, that it will meet their need of rich forest here to give them the mood bonus. So we'll see how that plays out in the long run, but for now, that's kind of the approach we're taking. So all right, looks like we're going back to harvesting and hopefully planting. I feel like that's not happening as fast as it should. The fiber corn's mostly planted, but we haven't planted in any space that requires, movement of anything. I imagine we're due for a raid relatively soon, so I'm hoping this all kind of gets straightened up before then. I am a little worried about how much wealth all this rice is going to generate. If we take a look at our wealth, it's not too bad. It's fairly leveled off, but if we look at the last raid, I think we are coming up due on one pretty soon. But the raid should be, maybe slightly larger than the previous one. So this was 17,000. This is 19,000, so a little bit more. Shouldn't be too bad though. This is good. Margarita's doing some research. That's very important because we are tribal and we are trying to develop some very basic things. I know we have recurve bow, but we want to get to the point where, we have great bows and there we go. So we are getting raided from the Bopwell Compact. They'll prepare for a while, then attacked. Okay, so we have 6 people. Some of them have guns. Molotov cocktails is always a little concerning. So let's go ahead and make sure that our animals specifically are indoors, because we do not want them getting destroyed. We have a little time before the raid actually starts. So I'll kind of let this planting happen. Once I see the message that they're starting to move, I will put everybody indoors, and then hopefully, oh, there we go. Let's go to schedule area 1. That'll bring everybody indoors, and then hopefully we end up in a situation where, yep, there we go. I was kind of hoping they would all get killed from the the traps. That did not happen. Okay, we do have to worry about this a little bit because it's going to generate a lot of heat, and we want to make sure that people do not get burned. All right, Pepper is on fire. That's not good. There we go. All right, who is assigned constructing? I think that's Marta, right? So let's deconstruct this wall before... There we go. Now it's considered outdoors, and the heat will normalize with outside, and we don't have to worry as much about it. All right, let's focus on putting out the fire. That's probably the more important thing here. Okay, so clearly this situation is not working in our favor too well. It's unfortunate the husky puppy died. That is not a good thing. All right, hopefully all this gets put out, and then there we go. Okay, so let's... Oh, boy. So it looks like we need to redesign our home area. Make sure we're including everything that's on fire, because that will just continue to spread and rip through everything unless we put it out. All right, I think we're okay now. We did get frag grenades and Molotov cocktails, so at least we have that going for us. Although this did kind of showcase a little bit of a weakness on our end, because if anybody makes it all the way back here and then they use Molotovs, this gets incredibly hot incredibly quick. Ooh, I should have not done that, because I think chopping up that husky meat is gonna make things a little... and cooking it and eating it, but that's all right. Yeah, venerated husky puppy. I think if they eat that meal, it's gonna make them a little upset. We'll have to deal with it. You know what? Why don't you prioritize butchering, and that'll get this body out of the way. Okay, so we did have a little bit of a temper tantrum here. Okay, so I think all the tainted stuff should ultimately get hauled over here. I know we're kind of... it's not happening as real time as we would like, because we only have 5 people and they're all kind of busy doing their own thing. But at some point, we do need to make sure everybody is... Actually, so you need to equip this. And Pepper, you're not in a place where I can have you do anything right now. Just eating up all the food, which is very unfortunate. Okay, we have a quest. Let's take a look at what we got. I can have Ignat join. We'll have 2 raids. No, I don't think we're ready for that. We barely handled a single raid, and our trap system is not even rebuilt, and it's not even sufficient for what it is. All right. How is the wealth situation? It's a little bit higher, but I think we have options for bringing it down. Instead of running all the way out here, I think you should prioritize hauling all this rice. That way it's a little bit closer. And then when you cook, it's right there. I think that's a much better decision overall. Let's go ahead and equip a, well, I'll wait. I'll issue a queued command to equip this recurve bow. So everybody should have a bow available to them. I was kind of hoping they'd spend a little more time getting this done. I guess the prioritization is not that high. But at least everybody's been eating. Our meals have been pretty stable, which is good. And they've eaten actual meals. So we haven't really had negative effects from eating raw food, which is good. So it looks like this is an adequate amount of rice for the amount of people we have. I mean, maybe a little bit extra, but that's all right. Tree cutting definitely needs to happen. I'm going to increase the priority of it just to make sure that plant cut is a thing that there's a little bit of effort put into. All right, so it looks like everybody's going around chopping trees now, which is good. It's kind of what we wanted. We're already in the -20 for tree chopping, so I want to make sure we do it while we can. I do also kind of want to extend the base a little bit, so we'll go ahead and put a door there. And then ultimately I'm going to want steel. But this is kind of where we're at right now. I probably should send somebody to sell some of this stuff. Especially the human leather. I think that wealth needs to go. So let's go ahead and go to the world map and plan a little trip. Form a caravan over here. I want to say it is Margarita that is our social. Yep. So let's go ahead and pick her. We could bring this alpaca with us just for storage. Dog leather, neutronomine, that's a decent amount of wealth. I don't think we need any of these leathers at the moment. What else can we bring with? Let's say the wooden club, the steel. Let's just get rid of all these poor quality things. Don't need the short bows anymore. I'll keep the revolver for now. And the Molotov frag grenades. Tainted goods, I'm not worried about. Those should decay on their own. I guess I'll bring the silver with just in case I want to buy something. And then I don't think I need to bring this much rice. I think that's a little excessive, but I don't know. I don't know how long this is going to take to get there, so yeah, maybe 200 I think is fine. And I should probably at least one simple, let's do like 5 simple meals and lower that to 100 150 rice. There, it's green, so it should be fine. All right, let's let that happen. We probably should put down a caravan hitching spot over here, just so that there's a little bit of a consistent location for caravans to start. And it probably makes sense to put it, between where most of our current storage is and our food. We could always move it later on. All right, chopping these trees down is going to generate a fair amount of wealth, I believe, from the lumber. So hopefully we're able to, well, when that gets converted to a wall, it still, unfortunately, provides wealth. So this is going to increase our wealth either way, which is a little unfortunate, but it's something that kind of has to happen. So we'll do what we got to do. I'm going to go ahead and allow all of this just to keep the building going. I know I need to throw some doors in various places, just to make sure we have entries and exits all over the place, but our primary, I want to leave that open and make this a giant trap area here. And there should be adequate wood to do all of it, so hopefully once they're done chopping all these trees here, we can transition to at least Marta, who's our resident construction person, can start building all this stuff. I think it will be perfectly fine. Okay, looks like she is appropriately focusing on building out these traps first. Probably should get this door done more than anything, just so we can get through. Oh, what's going on there? They're doing a little social relaxation. All right, here we go. Uh-oh. Oh, panther attacked something over here. I was wondering what that noise was. So if a panther attacks us, we can actually kill it without affecting anybody's mood because it's like a self-defense thing. So I'm kind of thinking at some point we might want to deliberately put ourselves in a situation where a panther is more likely to attack us. Let's see how our caravan's going. Nice and slow. Looks like it's going to take a couple days to fully get there. How much wealth did that take off? Yeah, that shaved down a decent amount of wealth. Not a ton, but a decent amount. All right, the fire is back up and running. Cooking is happening on a relatively regular basis. We have plenty of food available to everyone. We have some backup rice. The good thing about rice is it lasts 40 days without being refrigerated, so the need for a refrigerator is pretty much non-existent at this stage in the game. Eventually we'll need something, but for the time being we're good. Looks like all the fiber corn is planted and growing, so that should be a decent amount of wood haul in the future once we start utilizing some of these resources that we already have. It'll take a while for these the wood piles to decay, so I'm hoping we'll use most of them by that time, and it should be fine. Good, they're hauling all the tainted stuff off, which, because it's in deep moving water outside, it should decay very rapidly, and then just kind of go away. Yeah, unroofed outdoors should be good. There we go. More construction is happening. I'm thinking we're gonna build this out into our official storage area and maybe move the kitchen into there. Oh, somebody is passing by. It didn't say they had anything to trade, so probably not much to do there. Mood-wise, everybody is um a little bit dicey, but not terrible. I'm hoping, yeah, the venerated puppy dying, everybody's mood should go up by 5 by the end of the day. Now, everybody wants a Granland connection, and we probably should. I know we had a Granland seed here somewhere. Is it gone now? Oh no, it's still sitting out here. So we probably should plant this Granland tree. So let's go ahead and get that planted. And I think Marta should probably be our first person to get bonded with a Granland tree. Although, in a way, I'm kind of regretting it because it takes time for that. And I'm not sure I'm not sure we're in a good situation for that. So we're fine on food and we're fine on wood right now, and we have a way to make wood. So I think a medicine maker is probably a good idea. So unfortunately, so the downside of Marta being the person that has to maintain this is she's already in short supply because she's our primary constructor. Um, and actually, I should make sure that everyone has the ability to construct, even if it takes a little bit longer. We'll set this to priority 2 for now because I do want to focus on getting this built out. So the downside is kind of obvious. You end up in a situation where she's spending time pruning this Granland tree, to get it to the level we want it to get. But that takes 4.6 hours a day, which is 4.6 hours she can't be doing other things that she should be doing, like construction. So it'll be fine long term, but in the short term, it's kind of a pain. The biggest thing is getting it above the mark, and then maintaining it is a little bit simpler. The problem is going to come in when we have everybody with a Granland connection, because then everybody's going to want to sit and prune stuff all day. And that's going to be a real big problem when raids start, kind of pushing out there, and we end up in a situation where, they're just constantly unable to prune the Granland tree, or the Granland tree gets destroyed, or not, the dryads get destroyed. So, anyways, it's tricky. It's tricky to be tribal with that. So, all right, we did enclose this room. We don't have the tech yet to, or no, we do have the tech to make concrete. So maybe we can kind of fill this in, though we don't quite have the steel we need to make that happen. But we can always mine that. Okay, our caravan has arrived. Let's go ahead and issue a trade command. We want to sell, not the rice, because we need that walking back. Sell all this leather. We could sell the garbage weapons that are no good. And I think, yeah, that just gives us a little money. They don't want to buy the neutronomine, which is a little unfortunate. That does give us 732 gold to work with. We could buy cattle. I don't really see anything else in this list that I immediately want. So I'm kind of feeling like we buy cattle and we bring them back home. So hopefully we have our pen up by then. All right, she needs to stop and eat. Spending way too much time on that Granlin tree. And then I think we need to prioritize getting this done. So let's just manually issue a command to get this done. Although right now it's just dropping off the wood. Okay. Now let's actually construct it. This is the painful part where I wish I had that mod that lets you just prioritize building in an area, because then I wouldn't have to click on each one at a time. But that's okay. We'll make it work. One shy. Once this is built, we should officially have a pen we can now house animals in. All right, here we go. Looks like we are using some of the steel we have to concrete this up, which, you know, is what it is. But I'm hoping we kind of counterbalance that by having a bunch of Granlin trees and, you know, being in a proper jungle. We'll see how that goes. Let's just move on. We don't need anything from them. We really can't even do anything with them anyway. We don't have anything left to trade. We traded everything away. I guess except for the neutronamine, but that's all right. Let's make a zone for marble blocks, or just for blocks in general. It's just temporary, but I want to make sure that we have a place to haul everything. They can be outdoors. They don't decay. I just want to make sure to get them out of the doorway, really. And then that they're close to where we're likely going to be building stuff. Okay, our wealth should be, yeah, it's pretty stagnant. I wouldn't say it's declining at all, but at least it's not going up. I think, you know, instead of columns, at least on the front end, I think fences are going to be fine. Just anything that is slower than walking should force them to be on the other side of it and get hit by the traps. So kind of hoping that happens. And the reason I'm putting down concrete here is it doesn't have like a great beauty rating or anything, but I just want to make sure that we are able to clean the floors easier or keep them cleaner easier, especially if I'm going to be moving the stove into there. So that's kind of the current line of thinking. We also need to I want to do a grow zone here. I know it's just a small patch, but I want to plant daylilies around this light area here. I think this generates light. I hope it generates light. But I want to plant that here to kind of increase the beauty of this room a little bit, which is going to increase people's mood because they spend a lot of time in this barracks area. And it's an easy, cheap way that doesn't generate a lot of wealth to make beauty. So we'll just plant a bunch of daylilies. See how that goes. Let's take a look at the world map. We're about halfway back. Looks like we're okay on food. We're foraging, so should be fine, but we'll see longer term how that plays out. Food wise, looks like we are keeping up just fine with what we need to do. Very dirty is not good. We're probably generating a lot of stuff that's going to be making food poisoning. So let's try to get this cleaned up as much as possible before we get back to cooking. All right, let's clean up this blood. I guarantee you somebody's getting food poisoning. Okay, so Marta is back to trimming the tree. Looks like she's getting close to the maintenance level. I'm gonna go ahead and lower that just a little bit. Um, okay, so this is all getting built out. It didn't take too long, and it looks like we have used about half the wood that we had fully, chopped out, and we still have a fair amount of surplus. So I'm hoping we can kind of emulate what we have over here and just start building out a giant trap chain just to soften them up even more before they come in here. Oh, didn't mean to do that. So this is going to be pretty massive right now, but ultimately this isn't our long-term play. It's just temporary until we build out a proper kill box and do all that stuff. Oh, missed one. The other thing we need to do, otherwise this whole thing's pointless, is we need to make sure this door's held open and the only way to enter. So it looks like that is currently the case. So hopefully on our next raid, they will see this door open and come through here specifically. We can, I mean, honestly, I probably should invert this. And let me just do that now before I forget. But I do think it's probably more advantageous for me to put the entryway over here rather than over here, because our crops are here, and I don't want to be fighting over here all the time. So let's go ahead and open this up instead. Deconstruct that, and we'll build a wall when that is done, and then we'll just kind of work our way backwards over here. So hopefully this all gets done fairly quickly. The other thing I need to do is just build a ton of spike traps, and this is where the rest of our wood's gonna go. Essentially, is just building all these spike traps. But this will be good once kind of bigger raids start. This doesn't solve the problem of breachers. That's going to be a whole other can of worms, but at least for this beginning kind of tribal phase of everything, this should be, fairly adequate to deal with the immediate issue. Marta, I'm going to go ahead and kind of prioritize taking care of this stuff, even though it's affecting the sleep. Let's go ahead and build a wall right there. Prioritize working on that. And then let's prioritize building a door over here. Probably more importantly, prioritize getting these walls up over here. I didn't mean to drop the bow. But just in case there's a raid, I want to make sure that walls are up and running. Let's hold this door open just to make sure. Okay, so now we've successfully inverted the entryway, so should be all good. Now we just got to build a ton of traps with all the wood we have, and then eventually we need to get back to mining a little bit of metal out and making sure that we have an adequate amount of steel. I do think ultimately we're going to convert many of these wood traps into steel traps. I mean, it's cheap and easy to make wood traps, but wood traps are incredibly ineffective. They do not do a lot of damage. It's just kind of messy. So All right, here we go. Our person is back. Back on the map with all the animals. So hopefully she gets in, gets them penned, and then is able to get some R&R and kind of take care of her food situation here. So yeah, recreation starved, ravenously hungry. Like these are all incredibly bad things. So hopefully that goes okay for her. Hey, we got some berry drops. That's kind of nice. All right, so I think we are in a pretty good spot to put the cut in here for today. I'd say, it was a fairly successful mission overall. Who has animal handling here? Okay, you do. All right, so somebody's taking care of that. Anyway, I'd say fairly successful overall. We did defend against a 6-person raid. We kind of found some of our weaknesses and we're addressing them. We got a better kill box up and running, or not kill box, but we got a better, defensive path up and running, and like a really big one up and running over here. We got our general perimeter built out. We've started expanding our internal base. Once this is built, I think I can go ahead and deconstruct this and, start expanding a little bit more. But yeah, overall, I think things are going really well. If you liked the video, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel to see more content in the future. And we will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.